The morning sun filtered through the lace curtains of the bridal suite at the Ashford estate, casting delicate patterns across the ivory carpet. Haley Brooks sat motionless before the vanity mirror, her fingers trembling as she traced the pearl beading on her wedding dress. Outside, she could hear the muffled sounds of wedding coordinators shouting instructions, the distant hum of a vacuum cleaner, and somewhere far below, the catering team setting up tables for 200 guests. "You look beautiful, sweetheart," her best friend Maya whispered, adjusting the veil with careful precision. But Haley's hazel eyes weren't focused on her reflection. They were fixed on her phone, which had just buzzed with another passive-aggressive text from her mother. "Denise, Mom, I hope Ethan's family is paying for all this extravagance. You always did have expensive taste for someone who grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment." Haley's jaw tightened. Even on her wedding day, Denise couldn't let it go. The narrative had been the same for years. Haley was selfish, opportunistic, always looking for someone to take care of her. It didn't matter that Haley had worked 2 jobs through college, graduated with honors on a full scholarship, or that she'd been promoted twice in 3 years at Anderson & Klein Project Management. In Denise's eyes, her daughter was nothing more than a gold digger waiting to happen. "Don't let her get to you," Maya said firmly, recognizing the shadow that crossed Haley's face. "Today is your day." But that was easier said than done. Haley's relationship with her mother had been fractured since the day her father, Robert Brooks, died of a sudden heart attack when she was 19. Instead of grief bringing them together, it had created an unbridgeable chasm. Denise became bitter, controlling, convinced that Haley would abandon her the first chance she got. And in some ways, she had, but not the way Denise imagined. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of this incredible journey. At 23, Haley had secretly saved every penny from her campus jobs, tutoring gigs, and summer internships. She'd hidden cash in old textbooks, deposited checks into an account Denise didn't know existed, and planned her escape with military precision. The day she turned 25, she moved out. Not into some boyfriend's apartment as Denise had predicted, but into a modest studio she could barely afford. She slept on an air mattress for 6 months and ate ramen 4 nights a week, but she was free. Now, 6 years later, she was marrying Ethan Miller, a kind, thoughtful architect from a well-established family in Connecticut, and Denise couldn't stand it. "She's going to make a scene today," Haley said quietly, meeting Maya's eyes in the mirror. "I can feel it." Maya squeezed her shoulder. "Then let her. You've got nothing to hide, Haley. You paid for most of this wedding yourself. You bought that house in Maplewood with your own money. Ethan knows the truth. His family knows the truth. That's all that matters." Haley nodded, but the knot in her stomach remained, because the truth was complicated. Yes, she'd paid for the wedding, nearly 70% of it to be exact, using money from a settlement she'd received 2 years ago after her former employer violated labor laws. And yes, she'd purchased a small 3-bedroom house in Maplewood, New Jersey, with a combination of that settlement and a confidential agreement stemming from a workplace harassment case that had finally been resolved. But she'd never told her mother any of it, partly because it was none of Denise's business, and partly because Haley knew exactly what would happen. Her mother would either try to guilt her into sharing the money or claim Haley had manipulated someone into giving it to her. There was no winning. A sharp knock interrupted her thoughts. "Haley, it's Mom." Maya and Haley exchanged a glance. Maya mouthed, "Want me to tell her to wait?" But Haley shook her head. "Might as well get this over with." "Come in," she called. The door swung open, and Denise Brooks stepped inside, wearing a navy cocktail dress that was just a shade too formal for a mother of the bride. Her auburn hair was shellacked into place, her makeup flawless but severe. She looked Haley up and down with an expression that could have been approval or disdain. It was hard to tell. "Well," Denise said after a long pause, "you clean up nicely." "Thanks, Mom," Haley replied evenly. Denise circled her slowly, inspecting every detail. "This dress must have cost a fortune. Vera Wang, right? Or did you go with one of those knockoff designers to save Ethan's family some money?" Maya stiffened, but Haley placed a calming hand on her arm. "It's Pranovia's, actually, and I paid for it myself." Denise's eyebrows arched. "Really? On a project manager's salary? Must be nice to have generous friends." There it was, the insinuation. Always the insinuation. Haley stood, smoothing the front of her gown. She was taller than her mother now, and the heels gave her an extra 3 inches. She looked down at Denise with a calm she didn't entirely feel. "Mom, I need you to promise me something." "What?" "Promise me you won't make a scene today. Please, just let me have this one day without drama." Denise's smile didn't reach her eyes. "I don't know what you're talking about." I'm here to support you, Haley, even if I think you're making a mistake. Ethan is a good man. Ethan is a meal ticket, Denise corrected coldly. Just like every other guy you've dated, you've always had a knack for finding men who can provide. Maya stepped forward. Mrs. Brooks, that's completely... It's okay, Maya, Haley interrupted. She turned back to her mother. Believe what you want, Mom, but today I'm marrying the man I love, and nothing you say is going to change that. Denise studied her daughter for a long, uncomfortable moment. Then she shrugged. We'll see. And with that ominous statement, she turned and walked out. Maya let out a breath she'd been holding. Haley, you need to warn Ethan. She's planning something. I know, Haley whispered, sinking back into her chair. I know. Ethan Miller stood at the altar, his hands clasped behind his back to keep them from shaking. The outdoor ceremony space at the Ashford estate was stunning. White roses cascaded from every available surface, string lights were woven through the oak trees, and a string quartet played softly as guests took their seats. The October air was crisp but pleasant, carrying the faint scent of pine and earth. His best man, Jordan, leaned over and whispered, "You good, man?" Ethan nodded, but his mind was elsewhere, specifically on the conversation he'd had with Haley 3 nights ago. They'd been lying in bed in their tiny apartment, soon to be their old apartment, since they'd be moving into the Maplewood house after the honeymoon, when Haley had suddenly turned to him, her expression serious. "Ethan, I need to tell you something about my mom." He'd listened as she explained the years of emotional manipulation, the constant accusations, the narrative that Haley was incapable of achieving anything on her own. He'd heard some of it before, but this time, Haley went deeper. She told him about the settlement money, the house purchase, the lengths she'd gone to keep her financial independence hidden from Denise. Why? Ethan had asked gently. Why not just tell her? Show her you're successful? Haley had laughed bitterly. Because it wouldn't matter. She'd find a way to twist it. She'd say I manipulated my way into the settlement, or that I slept with someone to get the harassment case resolved, or that I'm hiding money that should have gone to her. There's no version of this where she sees me as capable. So I stopped trying. Ethan had pulled her close. I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. There's more, Haley had said quietly. I think she's going to try something at the wedding. She's been making comments, sending weird texts. I have a bad feeling. Then we'll handle it, Ethan had promised, together. Now, standing at the altar, he hoped he could keep that promise. The music shifted, and the guests rose to their feet. Ethan's heart leaped into his throat as Haley appeared at the far end of the aisle, radiant in her gown, her veil flowing behind her. She was walking alone, her choice, since her father had passed and she refused to let Denise play the role of giving her away. As Haley made her way toward him, Ethan caught a glimpse of Denise in the front row. She was smiling, but it was the kind of smile that didn't quite fit the occasion. Tight, controlled, almost smug. She's planning something, Ethan thought. Haley was right. But then Haley reached him, and the rest of the world fell away. Her eyes were bright with unshed tears, her smile genuine and full of love. He took her hands, and the officiant began. The ceremony itself was beautiful. Heartfelt vows, laughter from the guests when Ethan fumbled with the ring, a gentle kiss that earned applause, and a few wolf whistles from his college buddies. For a moment, everything felt perfect. But as they walked back down the aisle together, Ethan noticed Denise whispering to someone in the second row, a woman he didn't recognize. The woman nodded, jotting something down in a small notebook. What the hell was that? He squeezed Haley's hand. She squeezed back, but her smile had tightened. She'd seen it too. The cocktail hour passed in a blur of champagne toasts, hors d'oeuvres, and enthusiastic congratulations. Ethan's family, his mother Catherine, his father Richard, and his younger sister Sophie, were warm and welcoming, pulling Haley into hugs and gushing over how beautiful she looked. You've made him so happy, Catherine said, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. I've never seen Ethan like this. He makes me happy too, Haley replied, meaning every word. But across the terrace, Denise held court with a small group of relatives, her voice carrying just a little too loudly. Of course, Haley's always been resourceful, she was saying. Ever since she was young, she knew how to position herself advantageously. Maya, who'd been refilling her champagne glass nearby, stiffened. She marched over to Haley. Your mom is already starting, Maya hissed. She's telling people you strategically chose Ethan because of his family's money. Haley closed her eyes briefly. Of course she is. Want me to say something? No, Haley said firmly. Let her talk. It'll only make her look worse. But even as she said it, she felt the familiar sting of humiliation creeping up her spine. Loving this dramatic twist? Hit that like button and drop a comment below telling us what you think Denise is planning. Your engagement helps this video reach more people who love real, emotional stories like this one. Ethan appeared at her side, slipping an arm around her waist. You okay? Not really, Haley admitted, but I will be. Your mom? Who else? Ethan's jaw tightened. Want me to talk to her? No, she'll just twist it into me, hiding behind my husband. Haley sighed. Let's just get through the reception. After tonight, we're on a plane to Costa Rica, and she can say whatever she wants. But as they entered the reception hall, an elegant ballroom decorated with gold accents and cascading floral arrangements, Haley spotted someone unexpected sitting at one of the guest tables, Dr. Yvonne Park, Haley's attorney, the woman who'd represented her in the harassment case, the woman who knew every detail of Haley's financial situation. Yvonne caught her eye and gave a subtle nod. Ethan had invited her, just as they'd planned. Haley had initially resisted. It felt like overkill, like bringing a lawyer to her own wedding, but Ethan had insisted. If your mom tries something, he'd said, we'll have backup. Now, seeing Yvonne sitting calmly at table 12, Haley felt a strange sense of relief. Whatever Denise was planning, they were ready. Dinner was exquisite. Filet mignon with red wine reduction, roasted vegetables, and a delicate lemon risotto. The guests laughed and chatted, the champagne flowed freely, and for a while, Haley let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, the evening would pass without incident. Then came the toast. Jordan went first, delivering a funny and touching speech about Ethan's terrible college dating record and how Haley was the miracle we'd all been waiting for. Sophie followed with a tearful tribute to her brother and her new sister-in-law. Even Ethan's father stood, raising his glass and welcoming Haley into the Miller family with genuine warmth. And then the DJ handed the microphone to Denise. Haley's stomach dropped. Oh no, Maya whispered from the next table. Denise stood slowly, smoothing the front of her dress. She wore a smile that didn't reach her eyes, a smile Haley knew all too well. It was the smile Denise wore when she was about to deliver a calculated blow disguised as concern. Good evening, everyone, Denise began, her voice syrupy sweet. I'm Denise Brooks, mother of the bride. Polite applause rippled through the room. I have to say, it's been quite a journey watching Haley grow up. She's always been ambitious. Denise paused, letting the word hang in the air. Even as a little girl, she had a way of knowing exactly what she wanted, and exactly who could give it to her. A few uncomfortable chuckles. Haley felt Ethan's hand find hers under the table, squeezing tight. Now, I'll be honest, Denise continued, her smile widening. When Haley first told me about Ethan, I was skeptical. After all, my daughter has always had a type. She looked directly at Ethan. Successful, stable, from a good family. The room had gone quiet. People were shifting in their seats, sensing the undercurrent. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe this time is different. Maybe this time, Haley actually loves someone for who they are, not what they can provide. Catherine Miller's face had gone pale. Richard looked furious. Mom, Haley said quietly, standing. That's enough. But Denise barreled on, raising her glass. So here's to Ethan. May he enjoy married life and all the expenses that come with it. And to Haley, my beautiful, resourceful daughter, may you finally have everything you've always wanted. She drained her champagne in one gulp. The silence was deafening. And then, from the back of the room, someone started clapping slowly. It was one of Denise's cousins, clearly drunk and oblivious to the tension. A few others joined in awkwardly, but most of the guests sat frozen, unsure how to react. Haley felt tears burning behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of 200 people. Ethan stood, his face a mask of controlled rage. That was completely inappropriate. Denise shrugged. I was just being honest, sweetheart. No need to get defensive. You just called my wife a gold digger in front of our entire wedding, Ethan said, his voice low and dangerous. I never used that word, Denise replied innocently. Did I? And that's when the videographer, hired by the Millers to capture every moment of the day, zoomed in, still filming. This was all on camera. Every single word. Haley stood frozen, her fingers gripping the edge of the table so tightly her knuckles had turned white. Around her, the reception hall buzzed with whispered conversations and exchanged glances. Some guests looked sympathetic. Others seemed almost gleeful at the drama unfolding before them. Haley, honey, sit down, Denise said, her tone now dripping with false concern. You're making a scene. I'm making a scene? Haley's voice cracked, disbelief flooding through her. You just stood up in front of everyone and... I gave a toast, Denise interrupted smoothly. A honest, heartfelt toast. If you're feeling guilty about something, well, that's not my fault. Maya shot to her feet. Mrs. Brooks, you need to leave. Now. Denise's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? This is my daughter's wedding. I have every right to be here. Not if you're going to humiliate her, Maya shot back. But before the argument could escalate further, Richard Miller stood, his tall frame commanding immediate attention. He was a man who radiated quiet authority, a retired federal judge who'd spent 30 years in the courtroom. When he spoke, people listened. "Mrs. Brooks," he said calmly but firmly, "I think it's time you sat down." Denise bristled. "With all due respect, Mr. Miller, this is between me and my daughter." "No," Richard replied, his tone leaving no room for argument. "This is a wedding reception that you've just disrupted. If you have personal grievances with Haley, this is neither the time nor the place to air them." For a moment, Denise looked like she might argue. But then she caught sight of the camera still trained on her, and something shifted in her expression. She smiled, that same tight, calculated smile, and held up her hands in mock surrender. Fine. I didn't mean to upset anyone." She turned to Haley. "Sweetheart, if I hurt your feelings, I apologize. You know I only want what's best for you." Haley said nothing. She couldn't trust herself to speak. Denise set down her glass and smoothed her dress. "Actually, since we're all here, there's something I wanted to discuss. Something important." Ethan stepped forward. "Denise, whatever it is can wait until... It's about protecting my daughter's future," Denise continued, pulling a folded document from her purse. "See, I've been thinking. Marriage is wonderful, but it's also a legal contract. And contracts should have safeguards." She unfolded the paper with deliberate slowness, and Haley's blood ran cold. It was a prenuptial agreement. "I had my attorney draw this up," Denise said conversationally, as if discussing the weather. "It's very fair, very reasonable. It simply ensures that in the event of a divorce, both parties leave with what they brought into the marriage. Nothing more, nothing less." The room erupted. "Are you serious right now?" Sophie, Ethan's sister, shouted from her table. Catherine Miller looked like she might faint, but Denise pressed on, walking toward Ethan with the document extended. "I know it's not romantic, Ethan, but it's practical. Surely you understand. You're an architect. You build foundations to last, right? Well, this is a foundation for your marriage. We're already married, Denise," Ethan said through gritted teeth. "The ceremony happened 2 hours ago." "Oh, I know," Denise replied sweetly. "But this would just be a post-nuptial agreement, perfectly legal. All you have to do is sign it and we can all relax and enjoy the party." Haley finally found her voice. "Mom, what the hell is wrong with you?" Denise turned to her, and for just a second Haley saw something ugly flash across her mother's face, something bitter and vindictive. "What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you, Haley? You think I don't know what you're doing? You think I don't see through this whole charade?" "What charade?" Haley demanded. "This!" Denise gestured wildly at the ballroom, at the flowers, at Ethan. "This whole fairy tale wedding. You found yourself a rich husband, and now you're set for life. Just admit it. That's not... Do you know how much this wedding cost?" Denise continued, her voice rising. 50,000? 60? More? And let me guess, Ethan's family paid for all of it, because my daughter certainly couldn't afford it on her little project manager's salary. The room had gone completely silent. Even the DJ had stopped the music. Haley felt something inside her snap. For years, she'd endured her mother's accusations. For years, she'd kept quiet, hoping that one day Denise would see her for who she really was. But that day was never going to come, and Haley was done waiting. She took a deep breath, looked her mother straight in the eye, and said, "I paid for this wedding, Mom." Denise blinked. "What?" "I paid for this wedding." Haley enunciated each word carefully, 70% of it to be exact. "The flowers, the venue, the catering, my dress, I paid for it. With my own money." Denise laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. "Oh, please. Where would you get that kind of money?" "From the settlement I received 2 years ago when my former employer violated labor laws," Haley said clearly. "And from the confidential agreement I signed after resolving a workplace harassment case. Money I earned, money I fought for, money that has nothing to do with Ethan or his family." The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Denise's face had gone pale. You never told me about any settlement." "Because it was none of your business," Haley replied. "Just like the house I bought in Maplewood, in my name, with my money, is none of your business." Gasps rippled through the guests. Ethan slipped his arm around Haley's waist, a silent show of support. Denise's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. "You bought a house? When? How? Does it matter?" Haley asked. "You've already decided I'm a gold digger. Nothing I say will change your mind." Denise's shock was quickly morphing into anger. "You lied to me. You kept secrets. I protected myself, Haley corrected. There's a difference. Unbelievable, Denise hissed. After everything I've done for you, what exactly have you done for me, Mom? Haley's voice was quiet now, but it carried across the ballroom. Because from where I'm standing, all you've ever done is tear me down. You've questioned every decision I've made, every relationship I've had. You've called me selfish, manipulative, opportunistic. And I tried. God, I tried so hard to prove you wrong. But nothing was ever enough. Tears were streaming down Haley's face now, but she didn't care. So, yeah, I kept secrets. I hid money. I bought a house without telling you. And I didn't ask for your approval before marrying Ethan, because I knew you'd find a way to ruin it. Just like you're trying to ruin it now. Denise's face twisted. How dare you speak to me like that? I'm your mother. Then act like it, Haley whispered. For a long moment, mother and daughter stared at each other across the ballroom. The weight of years, of grief, resentment, and broken trust, hung heavy between them. And then Denise did something that shocked everyone. She smiled. It was a cold, calculating smile. You think you're so smart, don't you, Haley? You think you've got it all figured out. Mom, but you're forgetting something. Denise's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. I know things about you. Things that could make your new husband and his perfect family see you very differently. Ethan stepped forward. Is that a threat? It's a fact, Denise replied. See, Haley's been keeping secrets from me, but I've been keeping secrets too. And that's when Haley's heart stopped, because she knew exactly what her mother was talking about. The ballroom felt like it had shrunk, the walls pressing in as Denise's words hung in the air like a blade waiting to drop. Haley's pulse thundered in her ears, her mind racing through every possible secret her mother could weaponize. But before Denise could continue, a calm, authoritative voice cut through the tension. Mrs. Brooks, I'd advise you to stop talking, right now. Every head in the room turned. Dr. Yvonne Park stood gracefully, her charcoal gray suit immaculate, her expression unreadable. She was a woman in her early 40s, with sharp features, dark hair pulled into a neat bun, and the kind of presence that commanded respect without demanding it. She'd been sitting quietly at table 12 throughout the entire ordeal, observing, waiting. Denise's eyes narrowed. I'm sorry, who are you? Dr. Yvonne Park, attorney at law. Yvonne replied smoothly, pulling a business card from her pocket and holding it up for the room to see. I specialize in employment law, contract disputes, and, when necessary, civil litigation. I've been Haley's legal counsel for the past 3 years. Denise's confidence wavered for just a moment. I don't see how that's relevant. Oh, it's very relevant, Yvonne said, walking slowly toward the center of the ballroom. The click of her heels on the hardwood floor was the only sound. Because you just attempted to coerce a newlywed couple into signing a legal document under duress, in a public setting, while making defamatory statements about my client. I didn't... You called her a gold digger, Yvonne continued calmly. On camera. She gestured toward the videographer, who was still filming, his lens capturing every moment. You insinuated that she manipulated Mr. Miller into marriage for financial gain. You've made accusations about her character in front of approximately 200 witnesses. Would you like me to continue? Denise's face flushed. I was making a point. You were slandering your own daughter, Yvonne corrected. And now you've threatened to reveal secrets that could damage her reputation and her marriage. That's called blackmail, Mrs. Brooks. And it's illegal. The room was dead silent. Denise's mouth opened, then closed. She looked around desperately, as if searching for an ally, but found none. Even her own relatives had taken a step back, distancing themselves from the disaster unfolding. I wasn't serious, Denise stammered. I was just upset. Haley's been lying to me? Haley exercised her legal right to financial privacy, Yvonne interrupted. She's an adult. She's under no obligation to disclose her assets, settlements, or legal agreements to you, or to anyone else for that matter. Denise's hands clenched into fists. This is ridiculous. You can't... Actually, I can, Yvonne said, and I will, because here's what you don't know, Mrs. Brooks. She reached into her briefcase, a sleek leather case she'd brought with her, and pulled out a manila folder. She opened it slowly, deliberately, and began reading. 3 years ago, you attempted to access Haley's bank account without her permission. You used her social security number to apply for a credit card in her name. When that failed, you contacted her then-employer, claiming she was mentally unstable and requesting access to her personnel files. Haley gasped. She'd known about the credit card. She'd caught it early and reported it. But the rest... You also, Yvonne continued, her voice like steel, filed a fraudulent claim with Haley's insurance company, stating that you were the primary beneficiary on a policy that didn't exist. And when Haley received her settlement from Anderson and Klein, you hired a private investigator to track her financial activity. The folder was full of documents, printouts, emails, bank statements, all meticulously organized. Denise had gone white. How did you? Because Haley came to me, Yvonne said. She came to me after the credit card incident, terrified that you'd destroy her credit or sabotage her career. And I helped her build a case. A comprehensive, documented case of financial abuse and attempted fraud. Haley felt tears streaming down her face. But this time, they weren't tears of humiliation. They were tears of relief. Someone finally believed her. Ethan's arm tightened around her waist, holding her steady. Yvonne turned to address the entire room. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for interrupting this beautiful celebration, but I want to make something very clear. Haley Brooks, now Haley Miller, is one of the most financially independent, hardworking, and resilient women I've ever had the privilege of representing. She put herself through college. She worked 2 jobs while grieving the loss of her father. She fought for justice when her employer violated her rights. And she did all of it while enduring years of emotional manipulation from the one person who should have supported her. She looked directly at Denise. So no, Mrs. Brooks. Haley is not a gold digger. She's a survivor. And if you ever attempt to slander her, blackmail her, or interfere with her life again, I will personally ensure that every document in this folder ends up in front of a judge. Denise was shaking now, her face a mottled mix of rage and humiliation. You can't do this, she whispered. I just did, Yvonne replied. And then she did something that shocked everyone. She smiled. It wasn't cruel. It wasn't vindictive. It was the smile of someone who'd just won. If this story is giving you chills, smash that subscribe button and leave a comment telling us what you think should happen next. Let's get this video to 10,000 likes and share Haley's incredible journey with the world. Denise stood in the center of the ballroom, her carefully constructed facade crumbling like a sandcastle at high tide. The guests stared, some with pity, others with barely concealed satisfaction. Family drama made for uncomfortable entertainment, but no one could look away. Haley wiped her tears, her breathing still uneven. She'd fantasized about this moment, confronting her mother, exposing the truth. But now that it was happening, she felt strangely hollow. There was no triumph, no vindication, just exhaustion. Mom, Haley said quietly, her voice hoarse. Why? Why couldn't you just let me be happy? Denise's head snapped up. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Regret? Grief? But it vanished as quickly as it had appeared, replaced by hardened defensiveness. Because you abandoned me, Denise said, her voice breaking. Your father died, and you left. You moved out. You built this whole life without me, and you didn't even care. I did care, Haley's voice cracked. I cared so much that it was killing me. Every time I tried to talk to you, you turned it into a fight. Every time I achieved something, you found a way to belittle it. I didn't abandon you, Mom. I saved myself. Denise flinched as if she'd been slapped. You made me feel like I was nothing, Haley continued, tears flowing freely now. Like everything I accomplished was a fluke or a manipulation. Do you have any idea what that does to a person? To constantly be told you're not good enough, not honest enough, not worthy? I was trying to protect you. From what? Haley shouted. From success? From happiness? From finding someone who actually loves and respects me? Ethan squeezed her hand. Haley, you don't have to. Yes, I do, Haley interrupted. She looked at her mother, really looked at her, and saw a woman she barely recognized. When had Denise become so bitter, so small? I'm sorry Dad died, Haley said, her voice softer now. I'm sorry you lost the love of your life. I'm sorry I couldn't fix that for you, but I can't keep paying for it, Mom. I can't keep apologizing for living my life. Denise's lips trembled. For a moment, Haley thought she might finally say something real, something honest. But then Denise's expression hardened again. Fine, she said coldly. You want to cut me out of your life? Go ahead. You've clearly been planning it for years anyway. She grabbed her purse from the table and turned toward the exit. Mrs. Brooks, Yvonne called out. Before you leave, there's one more thing you should know. Denise paused, her back still turned. Haley could press charges, Yvonne said matter-of-factly. Identity theft, fraud, harassment. There's enough evidence in this file to build a solid case. But she's chosen not to. Do you know why? Denise didn't answer. Because despite everything you've put her through, she still loves you. She still hopes that one day, you'll wake up and realize what you're throwing away. Yvonne's voice softened slightly. But that day won't come if you keep walking down this path. So I'm giving you a choice, Mrs. Brooks. You can leave here tonight with your dignity intact, or you can force Haley's hand and face the legal consequences. What's it going to be? The ballroom held its breath. Slowly, Denise turned around. Her eyes met Haley's across the room. I don't know how to do this, Denise whispered, so quietly that Haley almost didn't hear her. Do what? Haley asked. Let you go. And for the first time in years, Haley saw her mother, really saw her. Not the monster, not the villain, just a broken woman who'd lost her husband and didn't know how to exist without him. Haley took a step forward. You don't have to let me go, Mom. You just have to let me be. Denise's face crumpled. She covered her mouth with her hand, a sob escaping despite her efforts to hold it back. I don't know if I can do that, she admitted. Then maybe, Haley said gently, you need to talk to someone, a therapist, someone who can help you. Denise shook her head. I don't need... Yes, you do, Haley insisted. Because tonight, this can't happen again, Mom. I won't let it. The two women stood there, 10 feet apart, an impossible chasm between them. Finally, Denise nodded. It was barely perceptible, just a tiny dip of her chin, but it was something. I'll think about it, she whispered. And then, without another word, she turned and walked out of the ballroom. The heavy doors swung shut behind her, and the spell broke. Guests began murmuring. The DJ hesitantly started the music again, and life slowly resumed. But Haley stood frozen, staring at the doors. Ethan pulled her close. You okay? I don't know, Haley admitted. Ask me tomorrow. He kissed her forehead. Fair enough. Maya appeared at her side, mascara smudged from crying. That was the most insane thing I've ever witnessed, and I once saw a guy propose at a funeral. Despite everything, Haley laughed, a short, surprised burst of laughter that felt almost foreign. Come on, Ethan said gently. Let's get some air. The terrace outside the ballroom was blessedly quiet. The October night had grown cooler, and Haley wrapped her arms around herself, her thin wedding dress offering little protection against the chill. Ethan immediately shrugged off his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. Thank you, she murmured, pulling it tight. They stood side by side at the railing, looking out over the estate's manicured gardens. String lights twinkled in the trees, and somewhere in the distance, Haley could hear the faint sound of water from the fountain near the entrance. I'm sorry, Haley said after a long silence. Ethan turned to her, brow furrowed. For what? For all of that. For my mom, for the scene, for ruining our wedding. Hey. Ethan gently turned her to face him. You didn't ruin anything. Your mom tried to, but she didn't succeed. You know why? Haley shook her head. Because we're married, Ethan said simply. We made vows. We promised to be there for each other, in good times and in bad. And if this is bad, then we're already handling it better than most couples. Ethan, I mean it, Haley. I don't care what your mom says or what anyone else thinks. I married you because I love you, because you're smart and strong and you make me want to be a better person. And nothing that happened in there changes that. Haley felt fresh tears prickling at her eyes. How are you so calm about this? Ethan smiled. Oh, I'm not calm. Internally, I'm furious. But that's my problem, not yours. Right now, my job is to make sure you're okay. I'm not, Haley admitted. I feel like I just went 10 rounds in a boxing ring. Then let's skip the rest of the reception, Ethan suggested. We'll say our goodbyes, thank everyone for coming, and get out of here. We can be at the airport in 2 hours. Haley hesitated. But the cake cutting, the first dance, can all wait for the next party, Ethan interrupted. Haley, this is your wedding day. It should be about what you want. So what do you want? She thought about it. What did she want? She wanted to forget the last hour had ever happened. She wanted to rewind time and uninvite her mother. She wanted to not feel like she'd just betrayed and exposed the woman who'd raised her, even though that woman had spent years trying to tear her down. But most of all, she wanted to start her new life, the life she'd fought so hard to build. I want to dance with my husband, Haley said finally. I want to cut the cake and toast with your family and pretend, just for a little while, that everything is okay. Ethan smiled. Then that's exactly what we'll do. He offered her his arm, and she took it. Together, they walked back into the ballroom. The reception had resumed in their absence. Though the atmosphere was noticeably subdued, guests smiled sympathetically as Haley and Ethan re-entered, and a few people reached out to squeeze Haley's hand or whisper words of encouragement. Catherine Miller hurried over, her face etched with concern. Sweetheart, are you all right? I'm okay, Haley assured her, though she wasn't entirely sure that was true. What your mother did was unconscionable, Catherine said firmly. Richard and I are horrified. It's not your fault, Catherine. I know, but still. Catherine glanced toward the doors where Denise had exited. If there's anything we can do, there is actually, Haley interrupted. You can dance with me and Ethan and help us cut the cake. And make sure everyone has a good time for the rest of the night, because I refuse to let her ruin this. Catherine's eyes misted over. You're a remarkable woman, Haley Miller. Haley managed to smile. I'm working on believing that. The DJ, sensing the shift in energy, approached cautiously. Folks, are we ready for the first dance? Ethan looked at Haley. She nodded. We're ready, he said. The lights dimmed, and the opening notes of Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran filled the ballroom. It was a song they'd chosen months ago, during a lazy Sunday morning in their apartment, when everything had felt simple and easy. Ethan led Haley to the center of the dance floor. She rested her head against his chest as they swayed slowly, the world narrowing to just the two of them. I love you, Ethan whispered into her hair. I love you too, Haley replied. And for those 3 minutes and 45 seconds, nothing else mattered. When the song ended, the guests erupted in applause. Jordan whistled loudly, and Sophie dabbed at her eyes with a napkin. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. They cut the cake, a 4-tiered masterpiece with cascading sugar flowers, and fed each other bites while guests laughed and cameras flashed. Haley danced with Richard, who told her she was the best thing that had ever happened to his son. Ethan danced with his mother, whispering something in her ear that made her cry happy tears. Maya pulled Haley aside during a lull in the music. How are you holding up? Maya asked. Honestly, I have no idea, Haley admitted. I feel like I should be more upset, but I'm just numb. That's shock, Maya said knowingly. It'll hit you later, probably on the plane to Costa Rica. Haley laughed despite herself. Great. Nothing says romantic honeymoon like an emotional breakdown at 30,000 feet. Ethan will handle it, Maya assured her. That man would walk through fire for you. I know. Haley glanced across the room to where Ethan was chatting with some college friends. As if sensing her gaze, he looked up and smiled. I'm really lucky. Damn right you are, Maya agreed. And for the record, I'm proud of you. Standing up to your mom like that took guts. I had help, Haley said, nodding toward Yvonne, who was chatting with Richard near the bar. The two lawyers had apparently found common ground and were deep in conversation about some recent Supreme Court ruling. Still, Maya insisted. You did good, Hales. Before Haley could respond, the DJ announced the bouquet toss. A group of single women gathered on the dance floor, jostling for position. Go on, Maya urged, pushing Haley forward. Haley turned her back to the crowd, held the bouquet high, and tossed it over her shoulder. There was a collective gasp, and then laughter. Yvonne Park stood holding the bouquet, looking mildly horrified. I wasn't even trying to catch it, she protested. Fate works in mysterious ways, Richard said with a grin, and the room erupted in laughter. For the first time all night, Haley felt genuinely happy. By 11 o'clock, the reception was winding down. Guests began trickling out, offering hugs and congratulations and promises to visit once the newlyweds returned from their honeymoon. Haley and Ethan stood near the entrance, thanking people as they left. It was exhausting, but also cathartic. Every hug, every kind word, felt like a reaffirmation that they'd made it through the worst. Sophie cornered Haley before leaving. I just want you to know, she said earnestly, you're the sister I always wanted. And if you ever need anything, I'm here. Thank you, Sophie, Haley said, pulling her into a tight hug. That means the world. Richard and Catherine were among the last to leave. Richard shook Ethan's hand firmly, then surprised Haley by pulling her into a warm embrace. Welcome to the family, Haley, he said, officially. Catherine kissed both her cheek. Take care of each other, and call us when you land in Costa Rica. We will, Ethan promised. Finally, only Maya, Yvonne, and a few stragglers remained. Maya helped Haley gather her things. The bouquet, retrieved from a bemused Yvonne, her clutch, the ridiculous number of bobby pins that had been holding her veil in place. You sure you're okay? Maya asked for the 100th time. I'm sure, Haley said, and surprisingly, she meant it. I'm exhausted and emotionally wrung out, but I'm okay. Good, because if you weren't, I'd have to hunt your mom down and give her a piece of my mind. Please don't, Haley said quickly. I think she's suffered enough for one night. Maya hesitated. You're too nice, you know that? Or maybe I'm just tired of being angry, Haley replied. I spent so many years being hurt and resentful. I don't want to carry that into my marriage. Maya nodded slowly. Fair enough, but if she pulls anything like this again, then I'll deal with it, Haley assured her. With Ethan, and probably Yvonne. Speaking of whom, the attorney approached with her briefcase in hand. I'm heading out, Yvonne said. But I wanted to say, you did great tonight, Haley. I know that wasn't easy. Thank you, Haley said sincerely. For everything. For being here. For backing me up. For believing me. Always, Yvonne replied. And for what it's worth, I think your mom might actually follow through on getting help. That look in her eyes when she left, I've seen it before. It's the look of someone who just realized they've hit rock bottom. Haley wasn't sure how to feel about that. Part of her hoped Yvonne was right. Part of her had heard too many empty promises from Denise to believe in change. Time will tell, Haley said finally. Yvonne squeezed her shoulder. Enjoy your honeymoon. You've earned it. The ride back to their apartment was quiet. Ethan drove while Haley rested her head against the window, watching the city lights blur past. What are you thinking about? Ethan asked. Everything, Haley admitted. And nothing. My brain feels like scrambled eggs. Ethan chuckled. That's fair. It's been one hell of a day. Understatement of the century. They lapsed into comfortable silence until Ethan pulled into their apartment complex. It was a modest building in a decent neighborhood, the place they'd shared for the past year while saving for the Maplewood house. Inside, their apartment was exactly as they'd left it that morning. Dishes in the sink, suitcases half-packed for the honeymoon, Haley's makeup scattered across the bathroom counter. Home sweet home, Ethan said, tossing his keys onto the counter. For one more night, at least. When they returned from Costa Rica, they'd officially move into the new house. A fresh start in every sense of the word. Haley kicked off her heels with a groan of relief. I'm never wearing shoes again. Bold statement from someone who owns 47 pairs, Ethan teased. 43, Haley corrected. I donated 4 last month, Ethan laughed, and the sound filled the small apartment with warmth. Haley wandered into the bedroom and stood in front of the mirror, studying her reflection. Her makeup was smudged, her hair had long since escaped its elaborate updo, and there were stress lines around her eyes that hadn't been there that morning. But she was still standing, still married, still here. Ethan appeared behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist and resting his chin on her shoulder. You're beautiful, he murmured. I'm a mess, Haley countered. A beautiful mess. She leaned back into him, closing her eyes. Do you think she'll really get help? My mom? I don't know, Ethan said honestly. But I know you can't fix her, Haley. She has to want to fix herself. I know. It sucks. It does, Ethan agreed. But you know what doesn't suck? What? The fact that in 12 hours we'll be on a beach in Costa Rica, drinking piña coladas and forgetting this entire nightmare. Haley smiled. That does sound pretty good. So let's focus on that, Ethan suggested. Let's focus on us, on our future, on all the good things we're going to build together. Okay, Haley whispered. I can do that. They stood there for a long moment, wrapped in each other's arms, the chaos of the day slowly fading into memory. Tomorrow, they'd fly to paradise. But tonight, they were exactly where they needed to be. We're halfway through this incredible journey. If you're hooked on Haley's story, don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the dramatic conclusion. Haley woke to sunlight streaming through the bedroom curtains and the smell of coffee wafting from the kitchen. For a blissful moment, she forgot about the wedding, about her mother, about everything. Then it all came crashing back. She groaned and pulled the pillow over her face. Good morning to you too, Ethan said from the doorway, holding 2 mugs of coffee. He was already dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, his hair still damp from the shower. Haley peeked out from under the pillow. Is it really morning? Or did I just dream an entire nightmare? Afraid it's morning, Ethan confirmed, setting one of the mugs on the nightstand. And it wasn't a dream. But on the bright side, our flight leaves at 3, so we only have to survive a few more hours in this country before we escape to tropical paradise. Haley sat up, accepting the coffee gratefully. You're chipper. One of us has to be, Ethan said with a grin. Besides, I already checked our phones. 37 text messages, 14 missed calls, and 1 very long voicemail from my mother asking if we're okay and reminding us to call when we land. Anything from my mom? Haley asked, trying to sound casual. Ethan's expression softened. No, nothing. Haley wasn't sure if she was relieved or disappointed. Okay, she said, taking a sip of coffee. Let's focus on today. What's the plan? Finish packing, eat something that isn't wedding cake, get to the airport by 1, Ethan recited. Think you can manage that? I'll do my best. They spent the morning in a flurry of activity, double-checking suitcases, making sure passports were accessible, setting up automatic payments for bills while they'd be gone. It was mundane, normal, and exactly what Haley needed. Around noon, as they were loading suitcases into Ethan's car, Haley's phone buzzed. It was a text from Maya. Saw the wedding footage. Videographer sent a preview link. You need to see this. Haley's stomach dropped. Oh God. What? Ethan asked. The video? The videographer sent a preview to the bridal party. Ethan's jaw tightened. Do you want to watch it? Haley hesitated. Part of her wanted to delete the link and pretend last night's confrontation hadn't been immortalized on film, but another part, the part that was tired of hiding, wanted to see it. Yeah, she said finally. I think I do. They sat on the couch, Haley's phone between them, and pressed play. The video began beautifully. Shots of the estate, guests arriving, Haley walking down the aisle. Ethan squeezed her hand as they watched themselves exchange vows, their faces glowing with happiness. Then came the reception. The video captured everything. Denise's toast, the uncomfortable silence, the attempted prenup ambush. But it also captured Haley's response, her strength, her refusal to be diminished. And then came Yvonne's intervention. Watching it back, Haley was struck by how powerful the moment had been. Yvonne's calm authority, the way she dismantled Denise's accusations with facts and evidence, the visible shift in the room as people realized what had really been happening. The video ended with Haley and Ethan's first dance, the camera zooming in on their faces, tired but determined, bruised but not broken. Wow, Ethan breathed. Yeah, Haley agreed. You were incredible, Ethan said. I mean, I was there, I saw it happen, but seeing it like this, Haley, you were so strong. I didn't feel strong, Haley admitted. I felt like I was falling apart. That's what made it strong, Ethan countered. You were falling apart, and you still stood up for yourself. That's real strength. Haley's phone buzzed again. Another text from Maya. I know it was a nightmare to live through, but damn girl, you're a hero. That footage is powerful. Then came a text from Sophie. Haley, I just watched the video. I'm in tears. You're amazing. Welcome to the family officially, though you were already part of it. And one from Richard. Haley, if you ever need legal counsel regarding your mother's actions, my door is open. What she did was unacceptable. Wishing you and Ethan a wonderful honeymoon. Even Yvonne had texted, watch the footage. You handled yourself beautifully. Enjoy Costa Rica. You've earned it. Haley felt warmth spreading through her chest. These people, her new family, her friends, had her back. Okay, she said, setting her phone aside. I'm ready to go now. To the airport, to the airport, to Costa Rica, to our new life. She stood, pulling Ethan up with her. Let's leave all of this behind and focus on us. Ethan kissed her forehead. Best idea you've had all day. Newark Liberty International Airport was predictably chaotic. Families with screaming children, business travelers rushing to their gates, the constant drone of announcements over the PA system. But Haley found the chaos oddly comforting. It was normal, mundane, a reminder that the world kept turning regardless of personal drama. They checked their bags, cleared security, and found their gate with an hour to spare. Want to grab lunch? Ethan suggested, nodding toward a cluster of restaurants near their terminal. Sure, Haley agreed. I'm starving. I don't think I ate anything at the reception. You had 3 bites of cake, Ethan reminded her. I counted. They settled into a booth at a Mexican restaurant, ordering nachos and margaritas, because, as Ethan pointed out, vacation started now. As they waited for their food, Haley's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. It was her mother. It's her, Haley said quietly. Ethan leaned forward. Do you want to answer it? Haley stared at the screen, her thumb hovering over the accept button. Then, at the last second, she let it go to voicemail. Not yet, she said. Maybe not ever. I don't know. That's okay, Ethan assured her. You don't owe her anything right now. A minute later, the voicemail notification popped up. Against her better judgment, Haley pressed play and lifted the phone to her ear. Her mother's voice was shaky, raw. Haley, it's me. I don't even know what to say. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough, but I am. I was awful last night. I was cruel and petty and everything you said I was. And you were right. I do need help. I've already called a therapist. I have an appointment next week. I don't know if that changes anything, but I wanted you to know. I'm trying. And I hope one day you can forgive me. I love you, sweetheart. I always have. Even when I didn't know how to show it. Enjoy your honeymoon. You deserve to be happy. The message ended. Haley set the phone down, her hands trembling. What did she say? Ethan asked gently. She apologized, Haley said, disbelief coloring her voice. She said she's seeing a therapist. She said she loves me. Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. How do you feel? I don't know, Haley admitted. Part of me wants to believe her. Part of me thinks it's just another manipulation. It might be, Ethan said honestly. Or it might be real. You don't have to decide right now. No, Haley agreed. I don't. The nachos arrived, and they ate in companionable silence. the weight of Denise's voicemail hanging between them. Finally, Haley spoke. "I think I want to give her a chance. Not right now, not until we're back from Costa Rica, but eventually. If she really is getting help, if she really is trying, I want to believe people can change. Then we'll take it one day at a time," Ethan said. Together, Haley echoed. Their flight was called, and they boarded the plane, 2 seats in coach, because Haley had insisted they save money where they could, despite Ethan's protests that they should splurge on business class. As the plane taxied down the runway, Haley looked out the window at the New York skyline shrinking below them. Somewhere down there, her mother was probably sitting in her apartment, alone, contemplating the wreckage of her relationship with her only daughter. Somewhere down there, life was messy and complicated and painful. But up here, at 30,000 feet, Haley felt light, free. She leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder as the plane climbed higher. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For loving me, for standing by me, for being exactly what I needed." Ethan kissed the top of her head. "Always." And as the plane broke through the clouds into brilliant sunshine, Haley closed her eyes and smiled. The warmth hit them the moment they stepped off the plane in San Jose, Costa Rica. It was a humid, tropical heat that clung to their skin and made Haley instantly grateful for the sundress she'd changed into mid-flight. "Welcome to paradise," Ethan said, grinning as they made their way through customs. The resort they'd booked was located in Manuel Antonio, a 3-hour drive from the airport. They'd splurged on a private car service, one of the few luxuries Ethan had insisted on, and the driver, a cheerful man named Carlos, greeted them with cold bottles of water and a basket of fresh fruit. "First time in Costa Rica?" Carlos asked as he loaded their luggage. "First time," Haley confirmed. "Ah, you will love it. Beautiful beaches, beautiful wildlife, beautiful everything," Carlos laughed. "You are on honeymoon, yes?" "Yes," Ethan said, pulling Haley close. "Just got married yesterday." "Congratulations. I will make sure you have the best trip. You relax, enjoy the drive, and I will get you to Manuel Antonio safely." The drive was stunning. They wound through lush rainforest, past small villages and roadside fruit stands, catching glimpses of the Pacific Ocean sparkling in the distance. Haley felt her shoulders, tense for what felt like weeks, finally begin to relax. "This was a good idea," she said softly. "The honeymoon?" Ethan asked. "All of it. Marrying you, starting over, leaving the past behind." Ethan kissed her temple. "Best decision you ever made." "Second best," Haley corrected with a smile. "The first was buying that house without telling anyone," Ethan laughed. "Fair enough." The resort was even more beautiful than the pictures. Their room, a private bungalow with a view of the ocean, was decorated in soft whites and blues, with a king-sized bed draped in gauzy netting and a balcony that overlooked the beach. "Oh my God," Haley breathed, stepping onto the balcony. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Waves crashed gently against the shore, and somewhere in the distance she could hear the calls of howler monkeys. Ethan wrapped his arms around her from behind. Worth it? So worth it. They spent the evening exploring the resort, dining on fresh seafood at the beachfront restaurant, and walking barefoot along the sand. For the first time in months, Haley felt like she could breathe. No drama, no accusations, no hidden agendas, just her and Ethan and the sound of the ocean. That night, as they lay in bed with the windows open and the sound of the waves lulling them to sleep, Haley's phone buzzed one last time. It was a text from Maya. "Just checking in. How's paradise?" Haley smiled and typed back, "Perfect. Exactly what I needed." Maya's response came quickly. "Good. You deserve it. Now put your phone away and go enjoy your husband." Haley laughed and did exactly that, setting her phone on silent and turning to Ethan. "Everything okay?" he asked sleepily. "Everything's perfect," Haley said. And for the first time in a long time, she meant it. The next week passed in a blissful haze. Haley and Ethan spent their days hiking through rainforest trails, ziplining over canopy, snorkeling in crystal-clear waters, and lounging on the beach with books they never quite finished. They talked about everything, their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Ethan confessed that he'd been terrified Haley would change her mind at the altar after seeing Denise's behavior. Haley admitted that she'd almost called off the wedding 3 times in the weeks leading up to it, convinced her mother would find a way to sabotage it. "But you didn't," Ethan pointed out. "No," Haley agreed. "I didn't, because I realized that if I let her control my decisions, she'd won, and I was done letting her win." They also talked about the future, the Maplewood house, and how they wanted to decorate it. Whether they wanted kids, eventually they agreed, but not for a few years. Career goals, travel bucket lists, what kind of dog they'd get once they were settled. It was the kind of conversation that felt both ordinary and profound, the building blocks of a life. On their 5th day, they took a boat tour to a secluded waterfall deep in the jungle. The guide led them on a short hike, and they emerged into a clearing where water cascaded down moss-covered rocks into a pristine pool. "You can swim," the guide said with a smile. "The water is safe, very refreshing." Haley didn't hesitate. She stripped down to her bikini and dove in, the cool water enveloping her like a baptism. When she surfaced, Ethan was watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. "What?" she asked, treading water. "Nothing," Ethan said, but he was smiling. "You just look happy. Really, truly happy." "I am," Haley realized. "I really am." Ethan dove in after her, and they spent the next hour playing in the waterfall, laughing like children. That night, over dinner at a small local restaurant Carlos had recommended, Haley's phone buzzed with an email notification. She glanced at it, then froze. It was from her mother. Subject line, "Please read when you're ready." Haley set her fork down, her appetite suddenly gone. "What is it?" Ethan asked. "Email from my mom." Ethan's expression darkened. "Do you want to read it now?" Haley hesitated. They'd spent a week in paradise, carefully avoiding any mention of Denise or the wedding drama. Did she really want to ruin that now? But ignoring it wouldn't make it go away. "Yeah," she said finally. "I think I do." She opened the email, and Ethan waited patiently as she read. "Dear Haley, I've started this email 100 times and deleted it just as many. I don't know how to say what I need to say, so I'm just going to be honest. I've spent the last week in therapy. Dr. Nguyen, my therapist, has helped me see things I've been avoiding for years. She says I've been projecting my grief onto you, that when your father died, I was so terrified of losing you too, that I sabotaged our relationship. I turned you into the enemy instead of accepting that you were growing up and building your own life. She also says I've been emotionally abusive. That word hit me like a freight train. I've spent my whole life thinking abusers were monsters, people who hit, who scream, who destroy. I never thought I could be one of them, but I was, I am, and I need to own that. I'm not writing this email to ask for forgiveness. I don't deserve it, and I know that. I'm writing because you deserve an apology, a real one, without excuses or justifications. I'm sorry, Haley. I'm sorry for the years of manipulation. I'm sorry for the names I called you, the accusations I made, the ways I tried to control you. I'm sorry for what I did at your wedding. You deserved a beautiful day, and I tried to take that from you. I'm going to keep seeing Dr. Nguyen. I'm going to work on myself, on my grief, on the bitterness I've let consume me. I don't know if I'll ever be the mother you deserved, but I want to try. If you're not ready to talk to me, I understand. If you never want to talk to me again, I'll accept that too. But I needed you to know. I'm proud of you. I've always been proud of you, even when I couldn't say it. You're strong and smart and capable, and you didn't need me to become successful. You did that on your own. I love you, Haley. I hope you're having a wonderful honeymoon. You've earned it. Love, Mom. Haley read the email twice, then set her phone down. Ethan reached across the table. You okay? I don't know, Haley admitted. It sounds sincere, but she said things like this before. Has she ever mentioned therapy before? Ethan asked. No, Haley said slowly. Never. Then maybe this time is different. Maybe, Haley agreed. Or maybe she'll go to a few sessions and then decide it's not worth it. I don't know if I can trust her. You don't have to, Ethan said gently. Not yet. Trust is earned, and she's got a lot of work to do. But if she's genuinely trying, that's something. Haley nodded. I think I want to respond. Not now, but when we get back. I want to tell her I'm willing to try, but there have to be boundaries. That sounds healthy, Ethan said. Does it? Haley laughed weakly. I have no idea what I'm doing. None of us do, Ethan assured her. We're all just figuring it out as we go. If this story is resonating with you, make sure to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear Haley's journey. Your support means everything. The flight back to New Jersey felt surreal. 10 days ago, Haley had boarded a plane as a woman fleeing the wreckage of her wedding reception. Now she was returning as someone different. Lighter, calmer, more sure of herself. The Maplewood house was waiting for them, freshly cleaned by the service Haley had hired before the wedding. Walking through the front door felt like stepping into a new chapter. Home sweet home, Ethan said, setting their suitcases down in the foyer. Haley wandered through the rooms, running her fingers along the walls she'd painted herself, admiring the furniture they'd carefully chosen together. This was hers, theirs. A space untouched by her mother's bitterness or anyone else's expectations. I love it here, she said softly. Me too. Ethan agreed. Though we're going to need curtains for the bedroom. The neighbors have a very clear view. Haley laughed. Added to the list. They spent the afternoon unpacking, doing laundry, and restocking the fridge. It was mundane, domestic, and absolutely perfect. That evening, as they sat on the back porch with glasses of wine, watching fireflies dance in the yard, Haley's phone rang. It was her mother. Haley's hand tightened around her wine glass. She looked at Ethan, who nodded encouragingly. "You've got this," he mouthed. Haley took a deep breath and answered. "Hi, Mom." "Haley." Denise's voice was tentative. "I wasn't sure you'd pick up." "I almost didn't," Haley admitted. "But I read your email, and I think we should talk." "Okay," Denise said. "I'm listening." "I appreciate the apology," Haley began carefully. "And I'm glad you're seeing a therapist, but words aren't enough, Mom. You've apologized before and things always go back to the way they were. So if we're going to have any kind of relationship moving forward, there need to be rules." "What kind of rules?" Denise asked quietly. "First, you don't get to comment on my marriage, my finances, or my life choices. If I want your advice, I'll ask for it. Second, you continue therapy. Not just a few sessions, really commit to it. And third, if you ever speak to me the way you did at my wedding again, we're done, permanently." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "Those are fair," Denise said finally. "More than fair. I can agree to that." "Good," Haley said. "Because I want to have a relationship with you, Mom. But it has to be different. Healthier." "I want that too," Denise whispered. "I really do." "Then we'll try," Haley said. "One step at a time." "One step at a time," Denise echoed. "Thank you, Haley, for giving me a chance." "You're welcome," Haley said. "But Mom, this is your last chance. Don't waste it." "I won't," Denise promised. "I swear I won't." They talked for a few more minutes. Surface-level conversation about the honeymoon, the house, the weather. It was awkward and stilted, but it was a start. When Haley hung up, she let out a long breath. "How do you feel?" Ethan asked. "Like I just ran a marathon," Haley admitted. "But also, hopeful? Maybe?" "Hopeful is good," Ethan said, pulling her close. They sat there on the porch until the sun set. Two people building a life together, one careful step at a time. 3 months passed. Haley and Ethan settled into their new home, filling it with laughter, arguments about where to hang pictures, and lazy Sunday mornings. Haley threw herself into work, earning another promotion that came with a significant raise. Ethan's architecture firm landed a major contract, and he began working on designs for a community center that would bear his name. And slowly, tentatively, Haley's relationship with her mother began to heal. Denise kept her promises. She attended therapy every week, and the change was gradual but noticeable. She stopped making passive-aggressive comments. She started asking about Haley's life with genuine interest instead of suspicion. She even apologized to Ethan directly, admitting she'd been wrong about him. It wasn't perfect. There were still moments of tension, still old wounds that ached, but it was progress. One Saturday afternoon, Haley invited Denise to the house for lunch. It was the first time her mother had visited since the wedding, and Haley was nervous. "You're sure about this?" Ethan asked as they set the table. "No," Haley admitted, "but I want to try." When Denise arrived, she came bearing gifts. A potted plant for the porch, a framed photo of Haley and her father from years ago, and a genuine smile. "Your home is beautiful," Denise said, looking around with what appeared to be honest admiration. "You've done such a wonderful job with it." "Thank you," Haley said, surprised by the compliment. Lunch was surprisingly pleasant. They talked about Denise's therapy, about a book club she'd joined, about her plans to take a pottery class. She asked about Ethan's work, complimented Haley's new haircut, and didn't make a single dig about money or marriage. As Denise was leaving, she paused at the door. "Haley, I just want to say, I'm really trying. I know I have a long way to go, but I'm trying." "I know, Mom," Haley said. "And I appreciate it." Denise hesitated, then pulled Haley into a hug. It was brief and a little awkward, but it was real. "I love you," Denise whispered. "I love you too," Haley replied. And this time, she meant it without reservation. It was a year to the day since the wedding. Haley and Ethan decided to celebrate their first anniversary with a quiet dinner at home. Ethan cooked, his famous lemon chicken with roasted vegetables, while Haley set the table with their wedding china, which they'd barely used. As they sat down to eat, Ethan pulled a small box from his pocket. "Ethan, we said no gifts," Haley protested. "It's not a gift," Ethan said with a grin. "It's a surprise. There's a difference." Haley opened the box and gasped. Inside was a key, but not just any key. It was engraved with coordinates. "What is this?" Haley asked. Coordinates to the waterfall in Costa Rica, Ethan explained, where we swam on our honeymoon. I'm thinking we go back for our second anniversary. Make it a tradition. Haley's eyes filled with tears. I love that idea. Good, Ethan said, because I already booked the flights. They laughed and ate and reminisced about the chaos of their wedding day. Can you believe it's been a year? Haley marveled. Feels like yesterday, Ethan said, and also like a lifetime ago. So much has changed, Haley agreed. For the better? Ethan asked. Haley thought about it, about the house they'd made a home, the career milestones they'd achieved, the fragile but growing relationship with her mother, the love that had only deepened between them. Definitely for the better, she said. Later that night, as they curled up on the couch to watch the wedding video, something Haley had finally felt ready to do, she found herself laughing at parts that had once made her cry. Look at your face when my mom grabbed the mic, Haley said, pointing at the screen. You look like you wanted to tackle her. I did, Ethan admitted. Jordan had to hold me back. When Yvonne appeared on screen, Haley felt a rush of gratitude. She made a mental note to send her a thank you gift. The video ended with their first dance, and Haley paused it on a shot of the two of them smiling at each other. That's my favorite part, she said softly. Mine too, Ethan agreed. Haley's phone buzzed. It was a text from her mother. Happy anniversary, sweetheart. Wishing you and Ethan many more years of happiness. Love you both. Haley smiled and showed Ethan the message. She's really trying, Ethan observed. Yeah, Haley said. She is, and so am I. She typed back, thank you, Mom. Love you too. Then she set her phone aside, snuggled closer to Ethan, and let herself bask in the simple, profound joy of being exactly where she was meant to be.